it's Bonnie Curry with another episode of From the Couch. It's not so much from the couch, but from the dining room table here in Cheyenne.
I'm sitting on a couch, Bonnie. I'm on the couch.
Thank you, thank you. So we can officially say it is From the Couch with my friends. For King and Country, I got Joel, I got Luke. Where are you guys talking from? So catch us up. What's going on?
Go ahead, little brother.
So I'm at my home. Joel is not at his, but we're just south. Courtney, my wife, and I, and kiddos, we live a little south of Nashville, Tennessee, and so I'm just at home.
Nice.
It's a rainy day here, and so getting to take time and get to chat with you.
Yes, awesome. What about you, Joel? Where are you at, love?
I am down further south with my wife in Florida, and some of Luke's family as well.
Yeah, my family.
Yeah,
we're different. You know, we're not family or anything, so it's just some of my family, not his.
Just your family, nobody that they actually acknowledge you at this point in time. It's like, we don't know about that Luke guy. He's just a mess. I started thinking about this year for you guys, and I kind of started checking things off in my head of what has happened to you both since January and up till right now. And so you guys have had some amazing highs. I mean, let's talk about, getting to work with, say, like Dolly Parton, pulling up a Grammy, and then Australia's on fire, which isn't fun because that's your home. And then we get the coronavirus, your tours are canceled. So tell me how you guys are. Like, where are your heads right now? How are you feeling? What are you hopeful about? What are you a little worried about? Let's talk.
Well, it is an onion, right? I think it's an onion for all of us, Bonnie, in that there's all of these compounding layers of, on one hand, I think I speak on behalf of both Luke and me, just strictly in this time frame. He and I respectively have had more time with our loved ones than, for my wife and I, for instance, in the 7 years we've been married, I've had more time at home with her than ever. And that's just been profound and beautiful. And we've kind of settled into being a normal couple in a sense, which is wonderful. And then you start peeling the layers of the onion back and you go to, we have 40 or so people that are somehow connected to the band, who most of which are crew and band on the road, that it becomes very difficult for. You start peeling the layers back even further. And man, we really care deeply for our supporters and our listeners, and just, we've always made ourselves available to writing about honesty and asking for that in return. And just, so you've got that heaviness of people walking through, like, loss of a loved one or loss of a job. Like, this time just equals great loss. And so, and then at the same time, I think we pause for long enough to feel very grateful that just going through the list of things that you've referenced, that musically we're able to still create in 2020 with, Tori Kelly in California singing on a track, and Kirk Franklin in Texas singing on a track, and our producer in Florida working on a track, and we're able to piece all this together and create something for people. So it's a mixed bag, Bonnie.
That feels right. And I think that's where a lot of people are right now, is, like you said, I've been able to hang out with my husband so much more. I mean, we're actually going, hey, I know you. You're fun. This is good. Luke, what about you and the kids? I mean, I know that, when you're touring, a lot of times you're taking your family with you. What has this felt like for you, being home more with your family versus being on the road and touring?
Well, I had this thought, or this moment the other day where Joel and I have both been kind of saying, hey, this is the longest amount of time that I've spent at home since I've been married. Yeah. Then it actually kind of dawned on me. I was doing an interview for something else the other day, and they kind of were talking about when our sister was traveling, these other things. And I realized that this is probably the longest I've been home since I was probably 8 or 9.
Right.
Consecutively. Like, I've never experienced this. And so, as Joel mentioned, there's a lot of great things that come with it, but there's a lot of difficult things. I actually had a moment the other day, yesterday actually, where I realized that we've had so much family time, which is great, but I usually get a ton of one-on-one time with my kids. Because I do take them on the road, I usually only bring one. And so I get these really deep conversations and these, wonderful moments where Jude, my oldest, is saying, yeah, so just dad and I went and looked at this when we were out on the road.
Right.
Well, now it's that we're all been doing it together, which is great. But I actually felt like I was reading the kids the other day saying, yeah, I could potentially, they don't say this obviously because they don't know how to, in some cases articulate their emotions.
Right.
But I could see them kind of say, yeah, I kind of missed a little bit of just being able to do something just with dad occasionally. And the coronavirus has made it to where we can't go and do those special things just one-on-one as much. And so it made me this morning actually kind of wake up and say, hey, one of the things going forward that I want to do is make sure that I am getting those individual times where, my sons and my wife, we're both feeling special, even though we're kind of all in this together and we can't really leave very easily.
Yeah. It's hard to create alone time when you're all trapped in a house together. And, I just went for a walk with my daughter this morning, and it's really funny. I didn't realize how much I look forward to now just going outside for a walk. It's like a highlight of my day. Yeah. And, there's just, I don't know, it's really kind of realizing some of the blessings that we have. My daughter and I were talking about, just cooking now more for your family and sitting down to a dinner where it has felt so rushed and so everything's just moving so quickly. And in the weirdest way, this has kind of forced so many people to slow down and to really take, I don't know, just kind of look at your life and say, okay, what is the most important thing right now? And that's okay. Let's connect. Let's do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think at the same time, Joel, what you were talking about being honest with your music. I've always felt like you guys have a heart for people that are hurting. I mean, I can think of so many songs that you both have sung, and it's speaking to people that are fighting depression or anxiety or just loneliness on so many levels. And so when I first saw the video for Together, again, knowing that you guys shot it from all different places and everything like this, but what really touched my heart was the fact that you guys, even yourselves, were holding up things that spoke to, this is what's hurting me right now, or this is what's struggling. So talk to me about Together. Where did it come from? Where, what are you guys hoping for this song?
The song we worked on, it's been a long time now, and it's kind of been an orphan child of a song. I didn't quite.
Why?
Well, because it never found its place on a record or anything like that, and it was such a specific agenda almost, and so we were kind of sitting back going, well, where does this song actually fit and find itself? And I think we'd thought for a time, well, maybe it would be the 2020 election. I'm a relatively new American citizen, and so I thought, well, this would be my first election to vote, and it's a bit of a time, it's division, and so what about togetherness then? And then we started the beginning of March. We started what were the only two shows we played almost this year. We started a Canadian tour. We got about 2 shows into the tour before we had to postpone the rest of the dates. And so there was this simultaneous, the pandemic is hitting, and we're playing these shows, and we hadn't obviously released Together, but we were playing it live just as kind of an extra song unreleased. And Luke walked off stage in Canada, in Toronto actually, which was the last show, and said, hey, we got to get this. This is the time for that song.
Yeah, let's birth this baby.
So yes, from that day to this, it's really, everything has been from, my wife and I contacting Tori to sing on it, to
Can I hit pause on that? I mean, so do you have Tori Kelly on speed dial? Is that just something that you have? Because I'm just saying, if you want to share that with me, I can say, hey, Tori.
What a great
She's amazing.
Luke, you got to tell Bonnie what Phoenix said about Tori the other day. I thought that was I got a kick out of it.
So this song's been in the making for like 2 years, and and so a lot of different versions. I think there's been 4 producers on the song. I mean, it's been a crazy situation. And so there's been so many different versions that this final version that we've settled on, I mean, I'm not really fully acquainted with it, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of got to a point where yes, and then it's finished, and then it's done. Right. But I haven't listened to it a bunch. So I'm in the car, and I'm like, hey, let's listen to Together. I want to kind of listen to it in the car, see what you think. And so my son is 5, and he's all about the beat of a song. Like, he'll tell me if the song's good because he goes, Dad, that beat is sick. You know, like that's the type of thing that he does. He's 5. And I'm like, and then he'll usually say that drum is better than me, or, you know, like all these other things. Like, he's critiquing the drums. Well, anyway, on this case, we play the song, and I'm expecting the normal something about the beat, something about the drums, you know, whatever. And he's heard the song a bunch, but I asked him, hey, what did you think? And he goes, wow, Dad, that girl who sings is so good. She's a better singer than you, Dad. And I'm like,
and there's the
absolutely.
brutal honesty of a
Kelly
5-year-old.
is one of the great singers out there.
She is.
I mean, it's been fun to see, have her be a part of the song.
Yeah, you guys have had a tremendous year. I mean, I'm not going to say that you're just better with these women in your life, but I'm not going to say that it's not true. Because
oh no, I will.
I'm amazed.
We will affirm and confirm that. I mean, you know, both with first and foremost with our wives, obviously. Like, For King Country isn't For King Country without their partnership and belief. And in fact, speaking of Tori, Mariah's sung. So the backdrop, or the peek behind the backdrop of that story is we're friends with Tori and Andre. We met last year at a wedding, and we've just kind of gotten to know one another and become really good friends. And Mariah actually sung. My wife, she's a great vocalist, as is Courtney, Luke's wife. She sung just kind of a mock vocal of the second verse, and then we sent the track to Tori, and we just recorded a video message and sent it to her and her husband and said, hey, in the middle of this isolation, do you have a way to track this? Would you be interested in singing on this? And she, within Bonnie, it was like 2 days or 3 days, she'd sent back.
Awesome.
She tracked it in her home studio and sent what you hear. She'd sent that back. And so it was one of those real rare serendipitous, well, this is really lovely and sweet and special. And we've just really enjoyed it.
That is amazing. I love her. When I first heard the song with Dolly Parton, I just smiled. And I know you guys felt very blessed to be able to work with that legend. And I just keep thinking that despite everything that's going on, looking forward, I mean, so, you know, as a band that tours, what are you kind of feeling like? Can you give an idea of what you guys might be thinking in the future, like a tour that might happen? Or is it just kind of like, we don't know?
Well, obviously we're always brainstorming about the ideas of what if. And so we've got ideas of what would it look like to do like a drive-in kind of tour, you know, if we could find big enough parking lots, what would it look like to do some of these things? Because I do think we're seeing it on the news. We're seeing it with our friends on social media. I mean, people want to be together, even if they can't actually touch each other. They want to they want to commune in some way.
Right.
And so we've kind of put on our thinking caps of like, well, what does that look like? You know, worst case scenario, we could at least do X, and best case scenario, we could at least do Y. You know, like what are those situations? And so we're coming up with different ideas as to what that would look like, and we hope to be able to in the coming weeks and months be able to announce something. But the biggest challenge has been, you know, you over in Europe, you obviously hear all of the countries doing, you know, slightly different variations of what does social distancing look like, and what does it look like. Well, in a roundabout way, it dawned on me the other day, in America, our states are the size of a lot of European countries.
They really are.
So we actually have that happening here, where you're not going to be able to go to New York, you know, state anytime soon. You're most likely not going to be able to go to California anytime soon. But maybe we can come to Wyoming. Maybe we can come to Montana. Maybe there's something in Tennessee.
4 people. Yeah.
You know, exactly. So there's places that you can go. And so it presents opportunity, but also it's difficult because there's some places, maybe Texas, you know, that they're welcoming some of these ideas. And there's other states that are going to say, you know, we're just not there without government officials. So we're trying to navigate all of that.
Yeah, I'm going to be praying for you guys and just all the artists that we play here on KLTY, because I know this is a challenging time. I know for everybody, there are so many people that are just really going through a lot right now. But the amazing thing is you don't realize is that you two and your family are kind of responsible, as Joel was saying, for all these families that also work for and, you know, produce and do the shows and stuff like this. So I know that's been weighing heavy on your hearts right now. And so I think, like everybody, you just have to keep doing the very best you can. stay as safe as you can, and keep doing what you just did. And that is to produce this amazing song of unity, of hope, of encouragement. I'm so grateful I get to debut that on my show. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. So on a more serious note, what's the weirdest thing you've eaten during quarantine?
And this actually worked out really well for us, because they're saying that, particularly even with COVID-19, that cutting out sugar and whatnot is helpful,
right,
to build your immune system. But for Lent, my wife and I, as well as my in-laws, decided that we would do Whole30, which I
that's
don't know if
tough.
you're familiar.
I am, and it's very tough.
So
yeah,
veggies, fruits, and meat. Cutting beans and sugars and all of that out. And it ended up becoming Whole47 because it was over Lent. And so we had some very unique meals, and we actually quite loved it. That was actually part of the charm of being home, was trying to figure out how to make this stuff.
Right.
One of the weird ones was, I love Asian food. Like I would have Asian food every meal of every day for the rest of my life. Oh, yeah. I'm good for it. And so I was missing that, because a lot of, you'd cut out soy, and whatnot. And I love Vietnamese food. I love pho. And so we figured out how to make a Whole30 pho, PHO, with this cucumber noodles. You get this spindle, and the cucumbers become noodles. And I don't like cucumbers, but it was really lovely. So cucumber noodles in Vietnamese pho would be, that's what's going to take the cake for me.
Yeah, I got to tell you, in terms of things that I would say are really lovely, cucumber noodles would never be in that list for me, but good on you that's what you think.
Yep. No, it was fact is stranger than fiction.
Oh, that is crazy. I will have to maybe try that when I'm super desperate and I've got some extra cucumbers in the hole. I was thinking maybe like a Twinkie burger. Luke, you got to help me out here with something less healthy, a little more dangerous. What do you got?
I'm grateful that you asked Joel first, because I was like literally wrecking my brain trying to think through what is. I mean, we haven't really eaten anything all that unique, other than I've become a little bit of a grill master, which I didn't see in my nature. And kind of desperate times, desperate measures, like, hey, we can grill out, and we've got meat, and we've got something in the freezer, let's go make do. And so it's been things like that we have done, but I haven't really consumed anything that I'm sitting there going, yeah, that's just downright weird.
I think if you asked his kids what they've consumed outside since the quarantine began,
yeah, I mean,
you might get some peculiar.
Be like, hey, Dad, so I found a snake. Can we grill the snake? But they're gonna do things like that. I think I've actually had that conversation with them before.
That feels good. That feels right.
So those things are a little more realistic.
Yeah, that feels good. I am so glad that we could catch up with you guys and just kind of say, hey, praying for you guys. Don't get discouraged. I know that Texas misses you guys. I know that you guys are two of my favorite performers. I remember the first time I ever saw you guys live was at Celebrate Freedom, and I was backstage, and I remember thinking to myself, you guys might have been my favorite performance I've ever seen at Celebrate Freedom. And that's a lot of bands that I've seen out there, guys. You guys rolled out all this timpani, and I remember Luke was just banging like crazy on the drums, and Joel, you were all over the stage. And I just remember thinking, I could watch these guys perform live all the time. So I'm missing you. I know that our listeners are missing you, but I know that having a song like Together on the Air, it's a connection. It's still that connection to you guys.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. And we feel the same towards you and towards Texas as a whole. And I think you touched on something very profound earlier, just that, there's a lot of layers, as we'd said, to this time, but my charge to myself and my family, and even to those watching or listening, is let's not miss this time. I think this is a finite amount of time in human history, and there is going to be hurt and there is going to be loss, but there also is very beautiful things that can come from it. That is reconnecting with the the earth, reconnecting with your loved ones, reconnecting with your neighbors, reconnecting with God, and slowing down, like all these things that really are the great, speaking of pandemics or epidemics in the West, the epidemic is busyness, or has been busyness. And so my hope and prayer is that we will find our way forward when we look back on this moment in life and we go, man, that was a stake in the ground where my life will be forever changed. Yes, maybe because my pocketbook was hit or tragically lost a loved one, but also because I reconnected in such a deep way. And that's our great prayer and hope, is that even in separation, we will come together, and that this will be unlike any experience we've had in human history.
Those are good words, my friend. Those are very good words, man. All right. Give love to your families. Stay safe. I cannot wait to see you both in the hope, very near future. Not from the couch necessarily, although Joel is on a couch right now.
I'm on a couch, guys. I told you.
There you go. I'm Bonnie Kirk.
I want you to know, Bonnie, I came downstairs
just to do the couch?
just to do the couch for you.
Yeah, I would have done the couch downstairs, but I lose Wi-Fi. Okay. It would have literally been going.
I was going to say, and then you're not even on the couch yourself. So
this is false advertising.
It really is.
Believe this.
I kind of catfish you guys just a little bit on that. I'm like, oh, it's not a couch. No. So yeah, a new episode of From the Couch with my friends Luke and Joel for King and Country. Be safe. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bless you.